Alright. Should we talk about what we were talking about before I hit record?
Oh, man.
So we just got out of focus.
We did. It's completely watchable.
Yeah, it was watchable.
That's the best way to describe this movie. It's no major problems. I think it
has story problems.
It has some serious story problems. Not major. Not enough that it's like, it was slightly distracting, but at the end it all kind of tied in, and you're like, all right.
Technically, yeah, it does all tie in. This movie is goddamn ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it is so far-fetched that relies so heavily on so much luck, coincidence, that it is absolutely fucking insane. This is not a movie where it's like, oh, this is really good, and then you think about it later on, you're like, wait, that didn't make sense. No, you're thinking that during the movie as this shit is happening.
But at the same time, really watchable.
At the same time, Will Smith's really cool.
Yeah. Margot Robbie does, Robbie or Robbie, however the fuck you pronounce it. She does fine. Like, she's a decent little actress.
They got really great chemistry together. It is really cool seeing Will Smith, like,
it's nice seeing him be, like, suave and cool again.
Suave and charismatic again after Earth and Winter's Tale.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing Will Smith doing a movie like this, which, like, if it were made, like, 30 plus some years ago, would probably be like a really cool Paul Newman movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, Will Smith to me has always been one of those guys that are like, yeah, some of the big blockbusters are really great fun and you turn your mind off and shit. But he is a really good actor.
He is charisma. He oozes charisma from him more than a lot of people in the past couple of decades. And it isn't just him who carries this movie, but he is, as the lead character in the movie, is great. Yeah. It's great watching him be cool, be suave, playing this, like, kind of cool con man. He does it, man. He could, Will Smith could do a part like this in his sleep.
He really could. And that's kind of the thing, is, like, there were parts where I was like, you don't give a fuck. But I think that added to it in a way. But yeah, it was a lot could have been better. Script could have used another pass or two just to tighten things up, and it was very, I don't know who the fuck directed it, but it looked like a car commercial half the time.
I actually really liked the direction in it. I thought it was pretty stylish.
I thought it was stylish, but maybe not even the direction so much as, like, the editing could have been a lot tighter, maybe.
I honestly didn't have a problem with that. There wasn't any
a major problem, but it's one of those things where, like, I think a whole lot of minor things that could have been tighter added up to, like, this whole thing could have been a little bit better.
You know, I never had that thought when I was watching this movie, but, like, with all the really cool shots of the city, the nightlife, the bar scene, nightclubs, all that in the movie, as much as I do like the direction of this movie and really didn't have a problem with it, I wish that this movie was Michael Mann's movie this year and not Black Hat.
Because with someone like Michael Mann, too, like, you know, this movie ends on, like, 3 twists. And I think with Michael Mann, the payoff would have been a whole lot bigger.
Let's just spoil that right now. Shot in the chest.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, and
that is insane.
And they telegraphed it from way in the beginning, so it wasn't really surprising, but at the same time, it was like, oh, that guy's gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, it's like when every con movie, instantly when someone gets shot, you know that, okay, that means the person who shot the person is in on this whole thing. Otherwise, this movie's gonna surprisingly end really dark. And it kind of does, but...
Which the occasional Will Smith movie will end really dark. Like, watch 7 Pounds. That shit's dark.
You know, I actually never saw 7 Pounds. I never saw 7 Pounds before.
Fucking depressing.
I've seen Film Brain's video on it.
7 Pounds? If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna ruin it for you right now. Whole movie is about a dude planning on killing himself.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew what the whole movie's about. I know what happens in it, because I saw Matthew's video.
In the most ridiculous way possible, too.
This movie has really great scenes in it.
It does.
Individual scenes that are fucking good. I can name at least three off the top of my head. One, when they're doing that montage in the first act where they're all swiping watches.
Oh yeah, that pickpocketing scene was fantastic.
That was so good. Well shot. The music in the movie is solid. The music in the movie is really solid. And that B.D. Wong scene.
Yeah, which was... B.D. Wong was way overacting it, but
it was great.
It was kind of great.
Yeah,
that was the best con scene in the whole movie, because that was the only time I was like kind of fooled. I didn't think he was running a con.
Me neither. That scene, it did get me. That scene is almost a really cool short film in and of itself. It's a really cool scene. When it's the reveal, like, wow, kind of like I said earlier, that relies on a lot of fucking luck and coincidence and in an insane amount of setup that's preposterous.
Yeah.
But they do explain it.
But imagine this movie if that was the ending scene.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How much cooler that would have been.
Because the first half of this movie I liked way better than the second half.
Yeah.
I did. It almost is kind of two movies.
It really is. And the first half, I think, is better. It also, like, just fucking rockets out the gate right on the story. There is no build-up. It just starts into it.
Yeah.
Which, part of me was like... Okay, take the first half of the movie, make that the second half of the real movie, and then build the characters to where that is an awesome ending.
Yeah, because it does some things at the end of the first half of the movie that seem to only kind of happen just for story purposes, like him leaving her, like out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere when he does.
And you know, part of me is like, I get that motivation, but at the same time, why does he seem so sad about it if he's a straight up con man?
That, and there was no build up to that. There was nothing in the first half that indicated that he was having thoughts like that he was second guessing anything with her or anything like that.
So it did seem out of nowhere, and that part didn't really have a payoff in the end. It's just like, other than like, oh, they meet back up 3 years later.
Other than because for story purposes, they gotta meet back up 3 years later, and there's a whole con that they're working there, which is just insane. Insane, but it involves Gerald McRaney, which is awesome.
My favorite part of the whole movie was him. Him and, like, I don't want to... See, I'm gonna... The supporting... They have a supporting character, and it's this big fat dude.
That guy.
Which, and I want to say he's Samoan, but I'm not entirely sure, and I don't want to be like... Oh, he's not Samoan, he's, like, Mexican, and I'm horribly racially insensitive. But, which I probably am. That dude was fun, he was a great supporting character, he's fucking dirty.
It's dirty as shit, and that guy played that part so well, because if that part's played wrong, it just comes across like, what's fucking creepy uncle doing here?
No, he's playing it like...
Like, oh, you.
Yeah, he's playing it like he's the charming sleazeball, but he's charming in the way that, like, he's completely harmless. He's just really fun.
Yeah, he's just sleazy. He has really good dialogue with Margot Robbie, where, like, lesbian talk and all of this. That's just...
Every other time you open your mouth, I smell pussy.
Like, this is... Somebody just watched Scarface recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had really great individual scenes. Probably my favorite scene in the movie, and I really liked this, was you see this a lot in movies nowadays, where it's the shot where somebody is driving and the camera is pointed from the camera's here and pointed that way. They'll be crossing an intersection and then a car comes out of nowhere and fucking hits them. In this movie,
you get the
other side of that, and it's kind of brilliant. Like, you follow this guy who rams... You see this part in the trailer, but, like, what you don't see in the trailers, you're following this guy for a good solid few minutes. He has no dialogue, really. It's just...
And it's just a dude you kind of saw in the background earlier in the movie.
He's at a pharmacy, he's buying shit. There's this driving kind of, like, it's switching angles from, like, helicopter shot, him in the car, in front of the car, all of that. And it's all edited together pretty nice, and then the sequence ends with him just casually putting on this neck brace,
and a mouth guard,
like a biker helmet, and then full speed slams into the car, and if you've seen the trailer, you know he hits Will Smith's car, but he gets out, and that's when you see Will Smith at the end of this scene. That was actually really cool. You're getting this kind of scene that we've seen in a lot of fucking movies is from the other person's point of view. I really liked that.
I dug that scene too, and the first couple minutes of it, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Because it was kind of, I don't know, it's just like, oh, there's this tertiary character. We're going to follow him driving for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He starts putting that shit on. I'm like, what? Okay, he's going to hit something. And then it's like, oh, it's Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Once he was in the car, I knew where it was going because I remember that from the trailer.
Yeah. I think I saw a trailer for this once. So.
Oh, okay. I caught it a few times.
I went in fairly blind. I, like, skimmed Rotten Tomatoes and surprised it's only at a, like, it was at, like, at a 45 or a 50 earlier.
Really? When I checked, it was at, like, a 63. It must have gone down.
Yeah. But, I mean, I guess that does sound about right, because by no means do I think this is a great movie, or even really that good of a movie, but it's very watchable.
It's a movie that is... It is absolutely ridiculous, but it is easily carried by the characters and the performances in this film.
It's a good Netflix watch.
I would say it's worth, like, if you want to spend about $5 and go see it.
Matinee show.
I could totally recommend it as a matinee. I absolutely could. If anything, just to see Will Smith and Gerald McRaney's scenes together that are just like vulgar dialogue poetry in it. I think I can think of recent movies where I could kind of compare it to. I think that a double feature of this would obviously be Confidence with Ed Burns. I think Confidence is a better movie than this.
Or
remember that movie?
Matchstick Man.
Matchstick Man, I think, is a better movie than this.
Well, that's fucking Schumacher, my friend.
No, it was Ridley Scott.
Schumacher wrote it, I believe.
I
could be wrong, but I believe Schumacher wrote Matchstick Men.
Oh, that I couldn't tell you, but Ridley Scott directed it.
Yeah. I'm looking that shit up.
And in sequences like that football scene and some of the other stuff in the movie, I even though, like, story-wise they're nothing alike, but there are some vulgar dialogue in there that's a little bit similar. This is a way better movie than The Gambler. To compare it to that in the sense of, like, that football sequence, some of the dialogue that Gerald McRaney has a little bit. The movies are story-wise absolutely nothing alike, but if I could tonally think of something recently like this, it's an R-rated adult movie in it that has to do with money and stuff like that. It's
not Schumacher, I'm wrong, sorry.
Who wrote it?
Matchstick Men?
Yeah. It was Eli Roth.
Nicholas Griffin and Ted Griffin.
Oh, the Griffin Boys.
Yes.
Matchstick Man's a fantastic fucking movie.
You know, I might disagree with you. I do think Gambler was probably a better movie than this. Long run, for me. But, like, an easier, just, like, breezy sit, like, for just, like, turning your mind off and enjoying a movie. This was more fun. I think with The Gambler, even though it wasn't getting great reviews, you and I wanted a lot more out of it than we got.
The problem with The Gambler, for me, I'm going back to remembering that, but, like, the problem for me with The Gambler was it had an excellent supporting cast and a shitty lead character. This one doesn't have that problem.
Well, I think our main problem with The Gambler, or mine was at least, that it wasn't even a shitty lead character. It was just the wrong actor for that role.
In some sequences in that, in some, as much as I hate to say that, because I love Mark Wahlberg.
I do too, but I mean, not every actor can be great in every
role. It was
role.
Will Smith in The Gambler.
That could have been good, yeah. I'm still saying Cusack.
Well, compare another movie to this. Remember The Grifters with John Cusack?
Oh, fuck yeah, I love The Grifters.
This is a good movie. Yeah. Good movie. Yeah, I mean, this movie goes... It's a lot more mainstream than anything you would see in something like The Grifters, certainly, especially the ending that fucking movie had. Fuck me. But, this could easily go along with stuff like Confidence in movies like that. It's
like, if you're gonna have a theme night, make this the second one. Start with a good one, go with this, and then build back up. This is that nice, like, you know, when you're making a mixtape and you want that, like, that little dip.
Yeah.
This is the dip. It's still good. It's just not what you want to start or end with. You know?
I know what you mean. I can't get over the getting shot in the chest thing.
That was a great scene.
With a pump sticking inside.
Yeah, part of me was waiting for it to happen, but it was a very immediate.
He is pumping blood out of his chest, and this is to so that the Rodrigo Santoro character will get scared and run away, leaving Gerald McRaney with him, and then you find out Gerald McRaney's been in on this con too.
And this is dad.
And his Will Smith's dad. That's kind of amazing. And
like,
so...
like that was another moment where you're like, shut off my brain, just fucking go with it.
Yeah,
It's his
me
dad.
too. Yeah,
Like,
me too.
that's his dad. All right, cool. And, like, stepfather, hopefully, or something. Like, you know.
Like, when he's sitting there with a pump sticking out of his fucking chest and duct taped on it, and then they pull over the car to have this, like, father-son moment with some really good dialogue and a great performance from Gerald McRaney. I'm sitting there like, he is shot in the chest.
He's bleeding into his lung. Like, this is not time for a talk.
And then he takes the money.
Yeah.
Like, dude! I understand you're trying to teach him a lesson here, but you shot him!
Yeah.
Leave him a couple thousand!
And knocks on the door and says, see you at Christmas.
See you Christmas, son. Goddamn, Gerald McRaney can make
He can
good
make-
movies even fucking better.
Oh, yeah.
He is, oh man, he's an underrated fucking dude. Like, fucking, I'm still shitting my pants from him in Deadwood. Fucking terrifying in that
yeah.
shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
One of
no,
the
he's-
best fucking TV villains.
No, when he showed up in the movie, I didn't know he was in it. I was like, oh, no shit.
I saw his name on the opening credits.
I hardly pay attention to the opening credits.
I do nowadays because you don't see that too much anymore. So now I'm kind of like, sweet, it's got an opening credit sequence. And so McRaney pops up in here, and he and Will Smith have this amazing back and forth in between the hotel room where it's a lot of Gerald McRaney getting mad about today's generation.
Which is great.
It's, yeah.
Your fucking cell phones and
Your
laptops.
fucking cell phone, your goddamn Twitter. I don't give a shit about the turkey sandwich you ate. He's like, and sarcasm. What's with your generation and fucking sarcasm? Guys like me, we just cut to the chase and say, fuck you. Like, wait a minute, you just said sarcasm. Like, no, that's satire. Learn the difference. It's a fun sequence.
Yeah.
It's a really fun sequence. It is because it's ridiculous, but goddamn, these actors are so good. They all have really good chemistry together. This is a movie that I could easily recommend solely based on how fun the actors are in it.
And that's really what carries it. I think with lesser actors, this would have been terrible.
Lesser actors, yeah. Lesser actors I wouldn't have been as... With lesser actors in this movie, I would probably say, like, okay, Rent It or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But with this cast, Gerald McRaney, Will Smith, Brent Spiner popping up in a scene...
Where was he at?
He had a couple of scenes. He was one of the guys who was working with Will Smith towards the beginning of it.
That was Brent Spiner?
He was in like one or two scenes. He was like, they were talking to each other while looking out the window earlier in the movie. I thought that was Brent Spiner.
No, I don't think that was Brent
I
Spiner.
swear that was Brent Spiner.
This is...
And I swear he also wrote Matchstick Men.
Brent
Spiner wrote Matchstick Men. I don't care who those Griffin guys are. They're fucking lying. You see him anywhere on there?
That was Brennan Brown, who looks a bit like Brent Spiner.
Well, yeah, I remember that guy, but I thought Brent Spiner was another guy from earlier in the movie.
I don't think so.
God bless you, IMDb.
I love this fucking app.
Yeah, God fucking bless you.
Nope.
No?
No.
Well, I'm an asshole. Sorry, Brent Spiner. I thought you were really good in this. This movie fucking conned me. I thought the whole movie he was in this movie. Fucking conned my ass.
Well,
Son of a bitch.
It's a big twist. It's not Brent Spiner.
That's the twist of the movie. It fucking got me. You fooled me, movie. Okay, well then who else? Rodrigo Santoro was good in this.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in anything in a while outside of the 300 makeup. Because I don't go back and rewatch Nikki and Paolo episodes of Lost.
Love Actually?
I forgot he was in that. I hadn't seen that since it hit video.
Yeah, that movie's, what, 10 years old more now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a good movie, Love Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did get a trailer for a Liam Neeson movie in front of this.
Fucking...
Run All Night.
Which I still say should be called Father's Day.
That would be amazing.
If it's good and I end up buying a copy, I'm gonna make my own art with the title Father's Day. I'm gonna call it fucking Father's Day.
I'm looking forward to that, but that's totally my kind of movie. It is. Liam Neeson doing fucking dark shit in the movie. R-rated
Ed
Liam
Harris?
Neeson. Ed Harris is the bad guy, and I love Joel Kinnaman. So I'm like Joel Kinnaman teaming up with Liam Neeson. Cool. Fuck out the trailer. Terminator Genesis. You want to talk about that a little bit?
It's one of those things that it's like, one, it doesn't need to be made. Two, the casting is so fucking weird to me.
Me too.
Because nobody in it do I think is a bad actor.
No!
It's just, you know, I like Jai Courtney. He was one that, like, I've liked that dude since the first episode of Spartacus. I'm like, that dude's cool. That, like, his run on that show, great. And I've seen him in other things where I'm like, this guy's a solid actor. He is not fucking Michael Biehn.
He's not Kyle Reese.
He's not Michael Biehn. I'm sorry.
I don't have the hate for Jai Courtney that a lot of people do, because I've seen him do really well in things before.
He's been in a couple movies that were complete letdowns, but they're not his fault.
No, it is not his fault that Die Hard 5 sucked.
No.
It's not his fault that that character in that movie sucked. He was a good bad guy in Jack Reacher. I've seen him, Spartacus, I've seen him do good work before. He does not look, sound, in any way, shape, or form like Michael Biehn in this, to the point to where it's distracting. It's distracting that Jason Clarke is John Connor and is doing so bad at trying to cover up his accent. Like, that is distracting. Sarah Connor looks 15 years fucking old in this.
That girl's a good actress.
She's a very good actress.
She's a great actress, but she's like pretty to the point where it's distracting for that character, you know? It's like if they recast Alien and put fucking Zoe Deschanel as Ripley.
But even comparing...
it's just like...
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know what I mean, though?
But if we get Nick Miller to be the Michael Biehn role from Aliens,
That'd be fucking
Schmidt could be Paxton.
Yes.
I'd
love to see that.
But even comparing, like, what Sarah Connor was like in the first Terminator movie, she didn't look... It's, like, much like a high school student. I like going by that trailer, I like the fact that it seems to have a plot that's not simply just trying to mimic the plot of the other movies. It looks like it is kind of trying to do some other things with it.
Well, and I think it's using the idea of time travel, creating loopholes to its benefit, like the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show kind of did too, which... I don't care what anybody says, that show was fucking fun. And Brian Austin Green was probably the best of it.
I've seen a couple of what I saw of it I liked. I didn't see the whole series.
That show did a good job of explaining its choices. And Lena Headey was a great choice to play Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it seems like it's going to be using those time travel loopholes to its own benefit, which is great. But at the same time, like, you know... Terminator 2 did come out at that time where, like, when that movie came out huge, we were both, like, 9 or 10. But by that point, I had seen the first one. And I wanted Terminator 2 to be like the first one. And it wasn't. So I've always held a little grudge. The Terminator franchise, as it is, has never sat right with me because none of them lived up to the excellence that is the first one.
I've always preferred the first one. The first one's always been my favorite one of all of them.
The first one's a weird fucking horror movie.
Yeah,
it's a sci-fi horror movie.
This sci-fi noirish, cool, low-budget little horror film that's genuinely scary. And I like Terminator 2. I like Terminator 2 a lot.
Movie. Yeah.
It's not... A lot of people prefer the second one over the first one. I never did. I always preferred the first one. And I like Terminator 2. I really dig the shit out of Terminator 2. Always preferred the first one, though. I did.
And I was really hoping when someone was like... When they announced they were making another Terminator movie, I was like, okay, after the last one, which obviously didn't do that great...
Yeah.
Maybe they'll go back to making like a little dark movie, and that would make me so happy.
Yeah, I don't think that'll ever happen.
No,
I wish it would. I wish it would.
Because that would be great. Like, if you know, it's one of those movies, it doesn't need to be remade, but if they were going to reboot everything, start from there. Do something cool. Like
a small little movie like the first one was, stark and fucking scary as shit. I mean, the Arnold geek in me likes seeing Arnold back again.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're gonna come up with some clever way to explain why he's older.
They do. They say that like they've already explained that. They say it's because like the fake skin on him ages.
Okay. Sure.
I mean, if you think about the other movies, it makes sense because he doesn't look as old, or he doesn't look as young in the second and third one as he did in the first one.
No, it's a dumb sci-fi movie. I'll fucking I'll buy into it, but at the same time, like, I just don't fucking care that much.
I'm
really
curious
don't.
to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Arnold, so I'll go see anything that Arnold does. So regardless of whether I like it or not, I've liked a couple of his comeback movies. Yeah. Actually, I liked most of them. I liked Escape Plan. I liked Sabotage.
I watched Sabotage the other day. That movie was really fun.
Yeah, it was vulgar as shit.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it was good, but I had a really good time.
I had a blast hearing fucking crazy ass.
Fucking Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard with fucking crazy ass Detective Linden from The Killing with a fucking giant machine gun out of the trunk of a car, just randomly killing pedestrians.
Yeah. That's a really fun movie.
Yeah, I liked that one. That movie bombed like shit, but I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. No, and I'm all for Arnold coming back to acting, but it's one of those things that, like, I really want him to do a comedy. Like,
well,
that's what I'm waiting
if
for.
If they make triplets with Eddie Murphy and Danny DeVito,
I can't fucking wait.
I'll be there. Opening day. Fuck yeah, I will. I'll be there if they make that. Of course, I'll be at that pre-screening. Yeah. I don't know why the fuck I wouldn't be.
No, I always loved Arnold as the action hero. Like, fucking, I love Predator. I love the Terminator movies.
Running Man.
Red Heat, Commando.
Yeah.
I mean, Running Man's one of my favorite movies of all time because it's just fucking ridiculous and amazing. But I always loved the comedies. I think even a little more to a degree because it was always kind of like, Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop's good.
Yeah.
You would never get a fucking dark-ass movie like that nowadays.
No.
That movie starts out hardcore and actually kind of continues that way. You've got sequences with Arnold, like, having fun with the kids, and then corpse of someone who's OD'd on the fucking table with the crazy-ass, Mr. Crisp's mom, who's like, I'm your fairy fucking godmother. Like, Jesus Christ, this movie gets real.
No, it's like, I love that movie. I like Junior. I like Twins.
Junior, I couldn't do
It's
Junior,
not the
but I
best
like
one.
Twins.
I like Twins. Junior's not the best one. Twins is definitely better.
Yeah.
Junior was the movie they made after Twins, and they're like, we can do this again.
Now, what about Jingle All the Way?
But True Lies is probably...
I love True Lies. It's my dad's favorite. I think that's still my dad's favorite action movie.
It's a good time. And you know what? Now that I'm older and I can appreciate all the actual jokes in it, Last Action Hero is fucking fantastic.
I have always loved Last Action Hero.
When it first came out, I couldn't stand it because I thought it was stupid. But now that I've seen so many movies and I get all the tropes and the jokes they were making, I fucking love that movie.
I love it, that movie. That movie's, even when I must have seen that a couple times in the theater.
That movie is the definition of tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, and it's so, like, I grew up watching so many action movies that even then, when I was a kid watching it in the theater, I'm like, this shit is fucking brilliant. Yeah. I think if that movie had come out maybe 10 years later, it probably wouldn't have gotten the flack that it did when it did come out. But that movie to me is fucking genius.
No, like... Watch that movie again. That is the action movie that Wes Anderson was gonna make someday. You know?
Yeah, or that...
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz. You could easily compare Last Action Hero to Hot Fuzz. Yeah. Both movies playing with action movie tropes, just doing it differently. Yeah.
Last Action Hero, possibly a little more ridiculous because there are cartoons.
The cat! Yes! Hey, he's one of the best ones on the force. Whiskers! Oh, I'm glad you're here. Hey, I'm saving the day, Jack. Is that Ryan? Oh yeah, I've got 2 movies tonight. What time is it? Do I need to get back in the theater?
Maybe. I'm not sure. We've been talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger for a half hour. Yeah, it's almost 10.
All right, well, I got to get back in the theater. I got to go see The Lazarus Effect. This has been Brad and Dave reviewing Focus for 15 minutes and talking Arnold for 30.
It's our new show.
It's our new shit. It's gonna catch on. Trust me. We got way more Arnold movies to talk about next week when we review Chappie. It's got robots in it. Easily transition into talking more Terminator.
Oh yeah, easily.
All right, next week is Chappie.
Hopefully, because it's not on the schedule yet for this town. But...
Yeah, but they've been late on scheduling stuff like that before. Like Chappie, the Vince Vaughn one, Unfinished Business.
Yeah, which looks like a dumb comedy, but
yeah. I mean, it looks, considering what we saw fucking last week, I'm like, okay, the Vince Vaughn movie, all right.
But it looks like Vince Vaughn might actually be playing the straight man, which
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the second best exotic Marigold Hotel. That one comes out next week, too.
That's going to be Brian's first movie after his appendix removal. Send him to that.
Send him to the wholesome movie.
You need to take it
ease him back into
slow,
it.
buddy.
Take it slow, ease him back into it. Handle the Judi Dench movie and with Maggie Smith there, buddy. See ya.